So let's get into it now. Just a few weeks from today, Wembley Stadium is going to be at capacity for defending champion, IBF champ, Dynamite Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua, AJ. So this one we're just going to speak about what sort of chance does Dynamite Daniel Dubois have, because obviously going into this fight, Anthony Joshua's the favorite, quite a clear favorite with pretty much most people. There are some who sort of pick Daniel Dubois for the upset, but for the most part, in this fight, you're looking at Anthony Joshua as a favorite. So this one, I'm just going to talk a bit about does Daniel Dubois actually have a realistic chance of beating Anthony Joshua? And for me, I won't waste any time. The answer is a resounding yes. He does have a chance to beat Anthony Joshua. He does possess a few tools in his toolbox which he can use to be very effective against Anthony Joshua and to give Joshua lots of problems. So for me personally, I think he's got a shot at doing this. He is the underdog, but just to get into a few things where I think he can sort of take advantage of Anthony Joshua. And I think number one thing would be to get Anthony Joshua somehow, some way to fight the fight at a very fast pace. So I think if Daniel Dubois can sort of set a hot pace from the beginning and try to sort of tire Anthony Joshua out by starting quite fast, going after Anthony Joshua from the opening bell, going to his body earlier, and trying to sort of get to Joshua and get Joshua to sort of panic and to feel under pressure from the early rounds. I think Daniel Dubois, because of his youth and the fact that I would say of the two of them, although I think Joshua is better, Daniel Dubois is probably the guy that's got the better engine. He's the guy that probably can sort of throw more punches over the rounds, and he's the guy that stamina wise, I would say that Daniel Dubois, he has an edge. Now, Anthony Joshua, he's got the capability to know how to manage a fight and he's got the intelligence to sort of throw punches at the right time and to sort of up it at certain times. So Joshua's clever and he knows what he's doing. But I think if Dubois can sort of set a high tempo in his fight, then he has a chance to definitely ruffle Joshua's feathers. And if he can, as I say, secondly, not only start fast but also go to Anthony Joshua's body early. Obviously, no one likes it downstairs. Joshua don't like it downstairs. So you go downstairs, go to Joshua's body early, and perhaps you take a few risks early. Be willing to sort of put the pressure on Anthony Joshua. Don't let him have things his own way. Sort of rough him up at the early stages, and if Dubois can sort of weather any early storms and get towards the later rounds in the fight, I think that also bodes well in his favor because of the two guys. As I said, for me, Dubois got the better stamina, so it's going to be things of that nature, in my opinion. He's got to use his youth, use his energy. Anthony Joshua's not an old guy by any stretch of the imagination, but he is mid-30s. I think Joshua's now 34, but Dubois, he's that 8 years younger at 26, so he's got the sort of youth advantage on Anthony Joshua. So I think if Dubois can do those things, hot pace, if he can move his head a little bit, because that's one of the mistakes that Dubois makes a lot of the time, is that he doesn't move his head and he does have those defensive leaks where he gets caught a bit too much. If Dubois can sort of set that hot pace, go to the AJ's body early, throw punches in bunches, make Anthony Joshua have to think, make Anthony Joshua have to work, because Anthony Joshua, he may be an aggressive fighter, but he does like to do things at his own pace and at his own tempo. So if you can get him out of that comfort zone, you can get him to sort of fight at a higher tempo, you can get him to have to work a bit harder than he wants to, then you've definitely got a shot. And I think if Dubois can do those things, he certainly can cause Anthony Joshua lots of trouble. And if he can, ideally for Daniel Dubois, if he can get to Anthony Joshua early, get into those combination punches and throwing the haymakers. And if he can hurt Anthony Joshua early, because we know Joshua, he's been hurt. Both these guys have been hurt at some point. So if Dubois can go downstairs and hurt him to the body or hurt him to the head, those things will bode well for him. Maybe punching between Joshua's punches like what Andy Ruiz did. Although I think Ruiz has obviously got faster hands than Joshua, faster hands than Dubois. But yeah, I think there's just simply sort of using that youth and using that energy, that good stamina that he's got to sort of make things hard and make things tough for Joshua and rough early on in the fight. For me, those are the sort of tactics, sort of aggressive, almost kamikaze tactics, are a way in which I think Daniel Dubois can win this fight. Because yes, there's the risk of getting caught and getting hit, but there's also the possibility that he gets to Joshua and he hurts him. So you never know. Although he's the underdog, I think he does have that realistic chance, and he's got to do those things which I've mentioned. There are other things, there are other tactics, but for me, it all revolves around that. It all revolves around the pace, trying to get to Joshua, and just ruffling Joshua's feathers, making him have to think, just making him sort of uncomfortable and making him fight at a high tempo. I don't think Joshua would like that. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it. Just a few thoughts there. Let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, till next time, MKO Boxing over and out.